Hey y'all, it is Andrea here at VW Family Farm. Ben and I are out in the greenhouse. Show your handiwork, Mr. Ben.
Look, I got a green thumb. Is that corny?
That's a dad joke.
No, this is some of the things I sprouted early. I've got my Chinese cabbage. All this is purple cauliflower. And then over here is several different types of cabbages. Things that we needed to get started early. I'm ready to put them in the ground. But looking at the forecast, we've got one more week that it's going to get down really cold.
At least one more week.
On the forecast.
I want to encourage you guys, you are going to start seeing lots of YouTube videos about starting seeds and all of that. And I just want to encourage you guys to keep in mind a couple things. Number one is, where are those people that you're watching? Are they in a similar area to you, like a same zone, or are they completely, you know, further south or whatever than you, and where they need to start seeds earlier? Number two, I would highly encourage all of you, this is not any kind of affiliate statement I'm about to make. It's literally just what has helped us and helped us garden the last few years, is get you a Clyde's garden planner. I will try to link his website below. It's not an affiliate link of any kind. It's just where you can get a little, what are they, Ben? $5, $10? They're pretty cheap, aren't they?
Yeah. I wasn't even thinking that's $5. I can't remember. It's been so long ago since we bought those.
So, but you can get them. It's a little sliding scale. You can put your last frost date, you can mark it on there. You'll see it when you go. It's just a simple thing, but he's put a ton of research into it, and it will tell you when you need to start your seeds for your last frost date. You can flip it over, and for your first frost date for the fall, when you need to start those fall plants. So that has been invaluable to us. So just for a little context, there are people in our zone that will be starting seeds in, like now, that are starting like tomatoes and peppers. You need to take into consideration, why are they doing that? Are they doing that for their home garden? Are they participating in some sort of plant sale that's already scheduled, and maybe that's why they're starting their seeds now?
Or do they have a greenhouse, a high tunnel, or something where they can actually start them right there?
Exactly, or somewhere to go with them once they get big enough. Because things like tomatoes and peppers, especially in warm temperatures, what was it, Ben? You just looked it up. We've documented the last few years on what we did, and we started them one year. What did you look at? It was February 1st?
Yeah, February 1st of 2017. I wrote it down that I started the seeds.
But then he also wrote down by, was it March 1st? I think it was.
Yeah.
By March 1st, they were already too big. Well, March 1st, and this was tomatoes and peppers. March 1st is nowhere near time to plant tomatoes and peppers outside where we live. We're in zone 7B. And so that was a year that by the time we could put them outside, they were entirely too big, root bound, leggy, really tall. It was just, we learned a lesson. And then we pushed it back a couple weeks to mid-February, and then we pushed it back a few more weeks. And we've just found patience is literally a virtue in seed starting. So I'd encourage you guys, get some sort of planner that'll help you know when to start them, or just start documenting. And if it doesn't work this year, go later next year or earlier, or whatever the case may be. And take everything you see on YouTube, take it for what it is. What are their goals and motivation for starting seeds right now? Because they probably have valid ones, but it may not apply to you guys. So we wanted to bring you guys out here and show you how awesome that stuff is doing. Now, it's honestly a little bit early for this stuff right here to go outside, because like Ben said, it's going to get down to the 20s. But we fed the plants, and that's something we have figured out in the last year or two, is feeding your plants some sort of fertilizer, whether that is rabbit manure or whether that is organic fertilizer, or whatever you choose to use, is essential for growing good plants, or having really good quality soil that's feeding them. You can go that route as well, but a lot of us are gardening in depleted soils. So, but we wanted to show you that. We will head back in. We're going to start some things inside, and we want to tell you our plans on some seeds, and I want to give you a second big tip I have for you guys. Before we start some seeds, I wanted to show you, this is our Clyde's garden planter. It's a sliding scale, and based on this, we could have a frost all the way up to late April here. In Arkansas, that's our average last frost date, and it's telling us not to start tomatoes and peppers actually until the beginning of April. Now we won't wait that long, do you think, Ben?
No, probably not. I'm gonna probably spread some out. We are gonna actually sell some tomato plants too. So I'll probably get some of them started for people that want them earlier. And then I'll kind of stagger them out. That way we'll have some at different ages for throughout the early spring and ours.
Right, so we're gonna have set up and sell meat one weekend, well actually probably a couple different weekends this spring, and sell some plants here from our farm. And so we will have to actually coordinate, like I was just telling you guys, with that on when to start them. So, but this is just so handy. Or like I said, if you don't want to use something like that, start documenting your own info.
So if you've been following us for a while, you know that I like the Hoss seed starting trays, but also something really inexpensive and easy and quick and really not very messy at all are these little peat discs. There's a bag of them. I just got my order in from Grower Solution. We got several sets of our seed, 6-pack seed trays or plant trays. So they will set down in one of these, and it's got holes in the bottom of it so you can get your water to drain off, so you're not just sitting there flooding your plants. And then also they come with the humidity domes. That will help your plants germinate so much better. So we're going to get started on planting, going off the Clyde's calendar. I didn't plant broccoli and I didn't plant bok choy. So we're going to get those planted today. But first, I'm going to show you a little trick with these right here, these little discs. Follow me. All right, so a little trick to this. If you're going to hydrate these, all these are is dehydrated peat moss compressed down. You can put them in cold water, but it will take forever for them to absorb all that. So all I've done is just got me a pan of hot water, got it on a low boil. I'll pour that over them. And they swelling up fast.
I'm just gonna say be careful. That's my tip of advice. So what are you doing now?
Pouring dirt down your sink.
Well, you're trying to get the excess water off or what?
Yeah, I don't want to get burnt. All right, we'll go over there. Actually, let's go out in the garage before I make a mess.
So we are needing to get this done tonight, or else if you would wait just a little bit, these wouldn't be as hot to handle as well. But that's the way it is, right? You got to do things when you can do it. But I would advise you give them a bit to cool, and then I think it'll be easier.
So if there's anyone out there that loves to get ahead of the game on planting seeds, it is definitely me. I think I probably got ahead of the seeds on the cabbage. Going off of Clyde's garden planter, I'm pretty close to on time. One thing I'm kind of behind on is ordering more seeds. I've got one shipment still coming in from Hoss. I just got this shipment in from Grower Solution. I got my shipment of Dixondale Farm onions the other day. And like I said, with the cold snap, I didn't want to plant them. So all I did is just in a 5-gallon bucket, I got some seed starting mix, moistened it up, set the onions down in there, and man, they are taking off. Look at them. So I know I get anxious, I get in a hurry, and I want to get gardens started, or at least the seeds started. I know it's way too early outside, but sometimes I think, man, it should take longer than that for them to get big enough. As you've seen those cabbage plants out there, they need to go in the ground like right now. So I'm holding myself back on the tomatoes, the peppers, and things like that a little bit closer. I'm probably not going to wait till they get to the start date on the Clyde's planter. I will probably still start them at least a week, probably 2 weeks earlier.
So we actually got some early stuff sprouted. Really excited about the stuff Ben already has big and beautiful, and then the stuff that he is sprouting right now for me. He likes to do that, and it's not my favorite thing to do. It just is time consuming and very tedious, and we just have different personalities. I know some of you guys know about that, if I had to do it, I would, and I'm sure I would find enjoyment in it, but right now he kind of does that part and I do other things, and it works out perfect for us. So if you have your own things, don't feel like you have to do it all. Share the things, share the responsibilities, and it's so much better that way in my opinion. But lastly, before we wrap this up, I want to mention that while we are not yet sprouting tomatoes and peppers, we're going to give that a bit. It is time to start getting your plan together of things you need to order and getting those ordered and on the way to you. There are some shipping delays with different companies. It's just unique to whoever you're ordering from and what situation they're in and all that. But as you guys know, everything's been affected in the last couple years. And so it could take a bit to get your order, no matter who you order from. Some of our favorites for ordering seeds, and they've stood the test of time, is Baker Creek, Hoss Tools. And then I want to show you guys some stuff we just got from Grower Solution. We really like those guys for supplies, like you're going to see in that box, a drip irrigation system. We have just figured out in the last couple years how essential it is to be able to water your plants, and like I mentioned earlier, feed your plants. You can have the best looking plant starts in the world, but once you put them in the ground, if they never get watered or never get fed or anything like that, you're probably going to have at best a mediocre year. So I'm learning these things and trying to share them with you guys, and I know you guys are learning them right along with me. So you're going to see some supplies in there for that. So super excited to have gotten those supplies in already. We've got a thing of ground cover from them. We really like their ground cover, and by that I mean like the fabric that you put down. That's made gardening, just took it to the next level for me on enjoyment wise, so I don't have to weed all the time. But before we wrap this up, I want to give you guys a couple of pieces of advice, and especially if you're going to be ordering seeds, or if you're just going to be sorting through your seeds and picking out what to plant. So we have learned a few things over the years, and this is really going to apply if you plan on sharing your plant starts or selling some or whatever the case may be. And in our case, we are going to sell some, but it's just simplified my life when I started thinking about doing it this way, even just for myself, for growing for myself. And here's what it is. So instead of, like, we're going to be growing this Cherokee purple this year. So instead of growing this Cherokee purple, and then we had another tomato that's in the black family. These are in, like, they have more of a purple flesh, and then there's some that they call those blacks. They all look similar to me. They're more of a darker flesh tomato. Instead of planting like 3 or 4 of those, or sprouting 3 or 4 of those that are in this family, and then when I have extras, trying to share them or sell them or whatever the case may be, and having all these varieties to try to explain to someone because people are interested in those. Some people are, some don't care. I'm sticking with one out of each category basically. I stretched it on a couple of categories, but so we're sticking with the old tried and true Cherokee Purple this year. This is our favorite tomato. It is mine anyway. Love these, and I love because they do well here. So that's going to be individual to you guys as well. Where are you, and what's for sale a lot in your area? So also we are doing, this is our big one from the big red. This is actually in the pink category. This is called a German pink. These do fantastic here. They're a very large tomato. It says they actually grow gorgeous, massive pink fruits. They're excellent for canning, slicing, freezing, and juicing, and they are. They're good for everything. They grow really well here. These are top of the list for us as well. Another one in the big category, we only have one package of these left, so this is literally gonna be a few 6-packs of this, is the Granny Cantrell. We've done those several years ago. They do well as well. Then I just picked a few out of the medium-sized tomato category. I'm going with, again, I've got one package of this, the Bonnie Best, so they will probably go pretty quickly when we start to sell plants. The pork chop, you can see this is more of a yellowish orange. It's kind of tie-dyed looking. This was bred by Brad Gates. If you've been around seeds and plants any length of time, you may have heard his name. And it's more of a medium sized. It's called a flattened beefsteak. They have a sweet tomato flavor with hints of citrus. I've grown this before. I really like how these look. If you are interested in the beauty side of gardening and not just the function, I think you would find these both. They would fit in both categories. And then also to wrap up the medium-sized category, this is the red snapper. We have done these before. These are from Haas. Haas has a really good germination rate as well for us. It's been our experience. They germinate really well. Your seeds from Haas actually might come coated in something. So you can see these Haas seeds for this red snapper. I don't know if y'all can see that or how well. They are actually pelletized, so they're coated in like a white coating, and they sprout really well. Now this red snapper is a determinate variety, meaning it's gonna grow to a fixed mature size, and all of its fruit is gonna ripen in a relatively short amount of time, like a 2-week period or so. So just keep that in mind, figuring out if your tomatoes you're growing are determinate or indeterminate. We're also gonna be growing these pink ox hearts. This is just a good all-around tomato. They do really well here. It's popular with like old timers, and it's just a good all-around, all-purpose variety for someone that just wants a tomato plant. And finally, finishing up the tomatoes, we're gonna be growing, these did really well for us last year, the yellow pear tomato. They're small, they're more like a cherry tomato. And then a few of Barry's Crazy Cherry, and this is from Baker Creek. And then our paste tomatoes, I'm growing Amish paste. They're tried and true for me. I don't do super well with the San Marzanos. Now you may do great with those in your area. They don't produce that well for me here. So I'm gonna stick with the Amish paste and not take up my garden space with anything else paste-wise, because I don't plan to just can tons and tons and tons of pastes and sauces. I'll probably do a lot of canning of tomatoes this year. So that just depends on your pantry and what you need. And then to wrap this up, peppers. Again, my advice is don't grow like 15 varieties of hot peppers unless hot peppers is all you like. So you've got to use your own judgment on what do I like to eat. Am I selling some of these plant starts or sharing them, or what the case may be. But in our case, we are growing, this is a package, it's Ajvarski peppers. This came from Baker Creek, and I believe these actually came from our friends Kevin and Sarah at Living Traditions that she had saved. We are actually growing a hot jalapeno. This is Craig's Grande. Because we had some requests from people, we started growing, let me show you the not jalapeno a few years ago. It's a not hot jalapeno. And then we actually started getting requests, hey, could you sprout me some jalapenos that are hot? So we don't need a ton of those, but other people do, so we're growing those. This is the Lisa pepper. These have done well for us. We've seen them on trial at Baker Creek a couple years ago, and there was just peppers everywhere. So really excited about those. Those are kind of in the same category with Ajvarskis, but we're gonna stick to those two varieties. And then to wrap this up, this is from Redemption Seeds. It's actually the Purple Beauty sweet pepper seed. So that is like a purple bell pepper. And then a green bell pepper, that's the California Wonder from Haas. The golden California Wonder, that's from Baker Creek. The Ozark Giant, this is tried and true for us. This is from Baker Creek. This does fantastic in our zone and in our area. And finally, an orange pepper. I'm not gonna try to pronounce that. I'll hold it up there where y'all can see it. I will just butcher that word. And again, that is an orange, a beautiful orange color. So that's our plans, and that's my two biggest pieces of advice is just because you see someone sprouting seeds, look at their context. What are they growing for? Maybe they need to be sprouting. Do they have a greenhouse? All those things. And then narrow down what you're growing and then take a look at it before you actually go do it. Take a look at it. Think about it for a minute and think, am I growing just all huge tomatoes? Am I growing all paste tomatoes? Is my variety of peppers what I'm gonna want to harvest when it comes time? And if not, change it up before you start seeds. Just put some time and thought into it before you jump into something and then you're not happy with your results, because I have been there. Thanks for hanging out with us. I do wanna show you guys one more thing because I have a question for you. I need some help. So this is from a company called Simple Grow. This is actually worm castings. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, we have actually never used worm castings. So we're actually gonna use this when we do start these tomatoes and peppers, and then we're gonna use this throughout the season. So it's actually a fertilizer. It actually says Nature's Perfect Plant Food. So I'm just wondering your guys' experience with worm castings. And then I'm gonna show you ours because I have high hopes for this. Like, this comes with great reviews, and I can link their website below. But I'm just wondering, like, what do you guys use worm castings for? Are you a fan of them? And I'll keep you posted on how this goes for us. I hear about worm castings a lot, so that means there's probably something to it. So I'm excited to use that. I will see you guys later. The mugs, I do want to mention the mugs. The mugs are live on our web store. They are being made individually when you order them, and then I get them and I personally ship them to you. So if you want a VW Family Farm mug, jump over there. There's always a link below to our meat store. And I think I'll even put a direct link to the mugs to make it easier for you guys. So, but I don't know if I can link them all. The easy way to do that is go on there and then off on the left-hand side. So maybe I'm backwards. The left-hand side when you go on the web store, if you will click the box that says non-food items, that brings up things like mugs and soap and things like that that are on there that is not meat and food. So if you are interested in a mug, hop over there and get you one. I don't know how long we'll keep this open, but I thank you to everyone who is ordering them. That's awesome. Can't wait to get them in your hands and then post your pictures, Facebook on our farm group, VW Family Farm and Friends. On Instagram, tag us. We are VW Family Farm on there as well. Or put it down in the comments. I'd love to see a picture with you and your mug when you get it. All right, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching and God bless.